We're finally here. UFC 317 International Fight Week of 2025. Wow. All I'm going to say is I can't be too happy with this card, mainly because some of these matchups were put together in the last, I don't know, a few days, and we're about 6 days away now. This card has about 12 bouts on it, with 2 cancelled and 1 rescheduled. It was originally meant to have Costa versus Kopylov, which has been rescheduled to 318. Poirier versus Holloway. We have Brandon Royval versus Manel Kape. Stepping up on short notice is the GOAT himself, Joshua Minivan, to take on Brandon Royval. And Jonata Diniz here will now face Alvin Hines. So why don't we just get started with the first fight. Cedric Dumas versus Jackson McVeigh at middleweight. Now, Cedric's been getting up to some side missions, we'll call it. He's been getting up to some side missions. He was just in prison. I believe it was for breaking and entering. But the police found him hiding in a fucking dog cage, out of all places. So he spent more time in other cages, prison, dog cages, than he has the octagon recently. But he's coming off a loss to Mikhail Alexeychik. To be honest, I'm not going to say it's a bad loss. Hot take, I'm really not going to say it's a bad loss. Mikhail Alexeychik's record doesn't really speak for what he does in his fights, considering his wins and his skill set. And now that he's training with the fighting nerds, I believe we're going to see Mikhail take off a little for a while in his career. But Cedric just didn't look good in that fight either way. Literally covered up straight away. I mean, he was rolling with the shots on the ground, but he wasn't throwing back, wasn't trying to get up to his feet, and the ref called it. He didn't get knocked out or anything. He instantly protested, but it's just not a good look. Not trying to get back to the feet. Surely you can take a few shots just while you explode back to your feet. He didn't try any of it. So he will be opening the early prelims for us on 317 against Jackson McVeigh. Now, Jackson McVeigh, I'm going to be honest with you, 6-0, 3 KO, 3 subs, but I mean, it was in LFA. LFA is always good competition, but I'm just looking at it, and all I can see is 4-0 against Ben Fowler, 3-2. Mateo Garner, 4-1. I guess that's not bad. Where's Mateo Garner now? 4-2. Jaquise Williams, 7-13. James Regina, 1-1. Tom Krenzel, 2-5. Devin Paulson, 5-5. It just doesn't look good. Again, like, I know Cedric isn't up to par in terms of UFC standard, but I just can't be picking someone who isn't proven in the UFC, who at least doesn't even have a win in the UFC, let alone win against someone who has more than 7 fights. So we're gonna go with Cedric Dumas. I think he's more well-rounded, anyways. Jackson McVeigh is 6-0 all by finish. He actually has 3 submissions, 3 KOs. But again, I just think Cedric's got more UFC experience, and I think it's going to come down to maybe McVeigh's not ready for it. And again, it's on short notice. So, and Cedric Dumas has been taking short notice fights before. I just don't think McVeigh's open to par with it. I believe McVeigh was actually, it's not going to show the odds here, but I believe McVeigh was a favourite to start with. So I've actually picked Cedric Dumas as an underdog before he moved on to the odds changing and he become a favourite. Also ignore that notification noise, but we'll go with Cedric Dumas. Next, Jonata Diniz versus Alvin Hines. Looking at this straight away, I was thinking Alvin Hines is going to be this fucking 6-2 heavyweight on short notice, but he's actually 7-0. 3 KOs, 3 subs, 1 decision. Again, with these records, 4-0 against someone who's 4-3, 5-0 against 2-0, 6-0 against 4-1. I'm not saying because you've had 6 fights 6-0 you have to fight someone who's like 20-2, but at least fight in your early career. Please be fighting. Try and push yourself to fight people with more fights. It just looks better when people are coming to, make picks. But he's 5-0 in the LFA. Again, the LFA is a good organisation. We've seen people come from the LFA and put some work in the UFC, but he seems, more well-rounded. Again, 3 subs, 3 KOs. But to the level of Janata Deniz's wins. The thing with Janata Deniz is MMA wise, Janata Deniz is 8-1 in terms of MMA with 7 KOs and 1 decision. He's coming off a loss to Marcin Tybura. He's 2-1 in the UFC. It wasn't a bad loss. Marcin Tybura is good and a bit underrated. But let's look at who he's beaten. Beating Austin Lane in the UFC, Eduardo Neves, Rodrigo Duarte. Oh, that was in UFC, sorry. But before all this, he was in Glory, losing to people like Rico Verhoeven and Daniel Guida. Like, not bad losses again. And since then, when he moved to MMA, he's been on 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll count his 2 kickboxing wins as well. Fuck it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He was on an 11 fight win streak before losing to Marcin Tybura. I just don't see. Again, this is another short notice fight, so I don't see Alvin Hines really being able to, get any sort of grappling going with Janata Deniz. Janata Deniz's takedown defense isn't that bad. It's just Marcin Tybura just has more MMA knowledge, more MMA experience. He is the better MMA fighter out of these 3, and he was able to get Janata Deniz down and finish him with ground and pound. But yeah, 8-1 in terms of MMA. 6'4" as well. I mean, if we just look at Alvin Hines, let me go take a look. Alvin Hines is 6'2". I mean, reach 74. So height and reach goes to Janata Deniz as well. Experience goes to Janata Deniz. Janata Deniz is coming out of a full fight camp. So I am just going to go with the pick of Janata Deniz. Everyone here are saying 88% by KO. I can see it. But the thing is, I can't say how good Alvin Hines' chin is. So maybe, he can grit a few shots and take it to a decision. Maybe he can win a decision. I don't see him knocking out Janata Deniz. The guys he's fighting just don't seem to have that level of, again, skill. So it's just a bit easier. But I am going to go with Janata Deniz. We're going to go with Janata Deniz round 2 KO. We'll make it spicy. Nico Price versus fucking Jacoby Smith. Now, I don't know what Nico Price has done to piss off the UFC. He gave the fans what we wanted, seeing Robbie Lawler go out on a KO win. And then, some reason after that, his chin magically restored itself. I'm gonna just quickly think about that while I take a drink of water. Yeah, his chin just restored itself in its next fight after somehow getting knocked out by Robbie Lawler. I think it was a fluke. I think he took a dive. That's all I'm going to say. Some fucking phantom punch. But Jacoby Smith is no phantom puncher, I promise you. 10-0. Obviously a little shorter, a little less reach, but I promise you, Jacoby Smith is, he's nothing to joke about. He's 29. 8 KOs, 2 decisions. He come out and KO'd Preston Parsons in round 1. He looked good from the start of that round to the very end of the finish. I don't think Preston Parsons is someone you just go out there and finish, especially in round 1. I mean, he does have 3 losses in the first round. In terms of KO, but it's 2 in the UFC. One was to Daniel Rodriguez, and then it was Jacoby Smith. But to finish him in a minute is just, it's crazy to me, mainly because, he's someone who gets his wrestling going early, likes to control the octagon early. So it's a bit like, it's crazy just to see someone get taken out so quick, especially someone who has such a dominant early game. But if we just go and take a look at someone who is always getting finished early, we go and take a look at Nico Price. Yeah, 5 losses by KO, 2 in the first round, 1 in the second round, and 2 in the third round. Lost to Pat Sabatini in a grappling match by submission. Lost to Robbie Lawler by hooks. Lost to Phil Rowe by punches. Mikel Pereira took him to a decision, which is fucking crazy to me. Vicente Luque, Doctor Stoppage, Jeff Neal ground and pound, Abdul Razak Al Hassan punches. He's taken a beat in his entire career with 16 and 8. And how old is he? Nico Price is 35. He's not even that old actually. I thought he was a bit older. But we're coming to an age now in like MMA where, we're seeing records like boxing, like 10 and 1, 10 and 0, 15 and 0, 18 and 0, 20 and 0. In terms of back of the day, where if you had a 16 and 8 record, you were still just a good fighter. I mean, Juliana Pena was a champion not too long ago with an 11 and 5 record. Her record is now 11 and 6, which I just think's insane how she was ever champion, let alone twice. But yeah, Jacoby Smith, as much as he's putting people away, he has underrated wrestling. He's very good everywhere. I'm gonna say Jacoby Smith in the. Do I want to say first round or do I want to say second? Considering 7 KOs in the first round, I'm gonna say under 1.5 rounds just to be safe. We're gonna carry on. Thank God let's get away from those fucking early prelims. Terence McChinney versus Viachin Borchin. If there was ever 2 fighters that were the epitome of glass cannon, it would be these two. Well, more than Terence McKinney. Vyacheslav Borshev or Slavaklaus. I don't really see him as a heavy power puncher. I remember predicting him to go out there and KO Chase Hooper, but he got dropped. I can't even believe that fight even fucking happened. Oh my god. He took an absolute beating from Chase Hooper. Chase Hooper wasn't even looking when he dropped him. He level changed, overhand, dropped Vyacheslav and jumped on him for an entire fucking round. And then in the second round got the grappling going again. It was just, to me that was 2 10-8 rounds, especially someone who's such an elite kickboxer. To get taken down I understand, but to get dropped the way he did against a twink like Chase Hooper is fucking insane. I just don't see this fight going his way. All I'm going to say is if Chase Hooper's able to drop you like he dropped Vyacheslav, I can't even believe it. I think Terence McKinney's going to be able to do the same. Terence McKinney is literally a case of knockout, get knocked out, knockout, get knocked out. 6 and 4 in the UFC. I mean, it doesn't look good, but he puts on a show every time. And it's not just KOs, it's submissions too. With 8 KOs in the first round and 7 subs in the first round. But he's lost by KO 5 times and submitted 2 times. He's never seen a decision win or lose. Terence McKinney always brings it. Again, let's just look. Knocked out Mike Breeden in a minute in the first round. Knocked out Brendan Moreau in 20 seconds. Knocked out Damir Hadjovic in 2 minutes in the first round. Eric Gonzalez, 2 minutes in the first round. Fares Ziam, 2 minutes in the first round. Matt Frivola, 7 seconds into the first round. Michael Lazari, 1 minute into the first round. Tonino Gavino, 1 minute into the first round. Not even a minute, that was 17 seconds. I just think, again, if Chase Hooper's able to put hands on you like that and drop you, Terence McKinney's putting your lights out. I could be wrong, but either way, I don't see it going the distance. If it does go any further than maybe a round and a half, that's when Vyacheslav starts to work his way into the fight. Again, he's just a really cold starter. So, but again, reach advantage for Terence McKinney. He's unbelievably fast. Again, just watching him drop Matt Frivola for 1-2 down the middle, watching him for a flying knee at Brendan Moreau, which was just, I mean, that knee come out of nowhere. Again, his losses aren't even that bad. He's lost to Ismail Bonfim, Nazim Sadikov, Esteban Rivovic, and Drew Dober. Racially motivated Drew Dober. Sean Woodson, like, these aren't even bad losses. They're not bad losses. We'll go with Terence McKinney by... I don't think he's going to submit Borshev. I would like to think if I'm Borshev, after the beating I took from Chase Hooper, I am going to work heavily on grappling. and every fight starts on the feet, so I'm gonna go Terrence McKinney by knockout first round. Alright, we're gonna go to Viviane Araújo versus Tracy Cortez. Now, I'm just noticing a fucking trend in women's fights. The one that looks more like a man, check. The one with the worst record, too, check. The one... Oh my god. What are their ranks again? Oh, never mind. It's usually one that's the less ranked. But again, there's a difference between being here to fight and being here to promote yourself. I just don't think Tracy Cortez is all that of a fighter, especially if we go to her record. 11-2, yeah, that's not bad, but who is she beating that's 11-2? Jasmine Jasudavicius, heavy surname. That's not even a bad win. But apart from that, I mean, who are these people? Stephanie Egger. I gotta watch how I fucking say that. 5-1. Vanessa Mello, 10-6. Oh, so I had to burp. It wouldn't come out. There it is. Melissa Gatto, 8-0-2. How the fuck do you have 2 draws? Is that 2 draws or 2 no contests? I don't even know. I don't want to spend too much time on this one, but I'm just gonna go with the fact that this is more of who wants it more. Again, there's someone here who's to fight and someone here who's more social coverage on media, doesn't really care. I just think with title aspirations or aims to work higher, it would be Viviane Araújo. I could very much be wrong, as Tracy Cortez is for some reason a heavy favourite, but I don't know, I just think, again, more reach, more tested. I am going to go with Viviane Araújo, so we're going to go with an underdog pick here. After 4 straight. Actually, I think Terrence McKinney's an underdog, so that might be 2 in a row. We're going to go with Viviane Araújo by decision. Or, I need to be a hardcore fucking MMA fan here. Hardcore analyst. We're going to go by submission in the 3rd round. They wasn't expecting that one. Hyder Emil versus Jose Miguel Delgado. Jose, however you want to say it. 9-1 against 11-0. I thought it was 10-0. I forgot who he fought last. Who the fuck did he fight last? Hyder Emil. William Gomez. Which I actually thought William Gomez won that fight. The thing with Hyder Emil is he literally fights like once a year. If he had activeness, if he had that level of activity, I think he would be... I genuinely think we'd see him in some form of rankings or the top 15 at the moment. Hyder Emil is really good. But is it just his power he's relying on? You know, his heavy leg kicks and his the pair in the hands. He's just someone that always comes forward, especially against people who don't want to come forward. That's why it looked like he won against William Gomez. William Gomez is always on the back foot, especially against Joanderson Brito. And somehow they gave that win to Gomez. Still, I don't rate Gomez too much, but I do think he won against Hyder Emil. However, Hyder Emil undefeated, just an absolute fucking animal with 6 KOs and 1 sub. You know, more finishes than decisions. You know, he's out there to finish it. He's always walking forward. But the problem is against Jose Miguel Delgado. Jose is just a cleaner fighter in terms of cleaner striking. You know, he can actually work off the back foot. Knows when to... How do I put it? Knows when to engage, especially against someone as dangerous as Jose Melgado. Especially as someone against someone as dangerous as Hyder Emil. You know, 5 KOs, 4 subs, hasn't seen a decision. I genuinely think this has potential to be fight of the night. I am actually going to go with Jose. Actually, you know what? It's a hard pick, really. Really, I just think it's going to be a really fun fight. I'll tell you what, I'm not going to pick someone for this, but I guarantee this isn't going the distance. I think this is a finish in the 2nd round. Late 2nd round, early 3rd round. Jack Fraudcheck Hermansson. What a fucking G. Again, with the records 16-6 against 24-8. Last time Robocop, Gregory Rodriguez was out here, he fought... what was the name? Not coming to me. Hello? What's the name? Jared Cannonier, fought Jared Cannonier. A lot of people had him to win that fight heavily, and everyone was, shitting on Jared Cannonier after losing to Nasruddin and then Koyo. Their fight just got announced, by the way, so I'll probably be doing a review of that soon. Gregory Rodriguez, pair in the hands, like amazing pair in the hands, great jiu-jitsu. Only problem is his chin and his gas tank. He's like Mikel Pereira. I mean, Mikel Pereira's got a chin, but his gas tank, he definitely showed he can't go 5 rounds. But thankfully for him, this is not 5 rounds. This is 3 rounds, and I believe it is the prelim. Is this the last prelim? Yeah, okay. This is the prelim headliner. And last time Jack Manson was out here, that was 2 years ago. I would favour Gregory Rodriguez coming over a finish loss by Jared Cannonier than Jack Hermansson winning 2 years ago. Jack Hermansson's getting up there in age now. Jack Hermansson is... How old is Jack Hermansson? 37. He's 37 and Robocop is 33. I mean, he looks fucking older, I'm not gonna lie, but that's what getting fucking beating the shit out of does to you. Yeah, Jack Hermansson put on a really good performance against Big Salty Joe Pyfer the start of 2024 and then just disappeared off the map. Again, Jack Hermansson's one of the fighters who just work their way into later rounds. I really don't see him being able to win this one. Again, just the inactivity. Gregory Rodriguez not being afraid to gas out as it's 3 rounds. I think he's going to put on a big pace, such a pace that's going to Hermansson's not going to be able to keep up with. So I do see Rodriguez coming back to this with an early finish. Trying to make a statement, and then maybe if he wins this with an early finish, they'll look at getting him back to a rankings fight soon. Gregory Rodriguez isn't bad. I just think he underestimated Jared Cannonier, and it's not like Jack Hermansson's chin is the best. I don't know how he withstood shots from Joe Pyfer. I just think he was rolling with them. These shots were a bit misplaced. But Jack Hermansson has been finished 5 times in his career, which may not seem a lot, but when you look at who he's lost to, Roman Dolidze finished him, which isn't a good look. Jared Cannonier finished him, and Thiago Santos finished him. These are the 3 finishes by KO. Again, I just don't know how Joe Pyfer didn't finish him. He's not accurate, but he is a big hitter. I don't really think these shots were landing as much as people think they were. But when you're getting knocked out by Roman Dolidze, I think it's possible to get slept by Gregory Rodriguez, someone who's not going to let you get off the cage, someone who is going to, keep pushing forward and throw combinations, or just throw these. I wouldn't even say combinations, just these wild hooks and these wild swings. But I'm gonna go with Gregory Rodriguez first round finish. It could be a sub. I can see him locking a guillotine if Hermansson wants to start wrestling. So we're gonna go Rodriguez first round finish. I'll say first round finish. Oh, Peyton Frank Ocean's boyfriend Talbot versus Felipe Lima. Wow. I remember when Felipe Lima debuted. When was it? Did he debut against Naimov? Or did he fight before that? I think it was the short notice Naimov fight. Let's have a look. Yeah, short notice. June last year against Mohamed Naimov. I believe that was at featherweight. Honestly, I even bet Naimov to win that fight. So let me just shut this window. I bet Naimov to win that fight. I predicted it. I was like, yep, okay. Round 1 went smooth, round 2 went smooth, and it was like a switch had flipped in Felipe Lima's head coming into that 3rd round. I believe the coach was talking to him in the corner. It was like a Leon Edwards moment, like, against the second fight against Usman. It was one of those, and he come out, and that 3rd round he was just on fire. I can't exactly remember how he got the submission. I can't remember if he rocked him, or I think he was able to slip past the shot and just take the back. Felipe Lima is very small, very stocky. especially at featherweight in that fight. I think that's why he was able to take the shots of Muhammad Naimov. But now coming back to down to bantamweight, his original weight class, I should say. Um, I don't know how he's going to do against some of these people that are bigger at bantamweight. But I mean, if you're coming down from featherweight, you're naturally going to be bigger at bantamweight. So I understand why people are picking Felipe Lima. Peyton Talbot just lost to fucking Rowdy Barcelos. It's not a good look until you realise he just went and beat Cody Garbrandt. And it was not like he knocked Cody Garbrandt out, pieced him up. He was doing pretty good in the wrestling, and Cody Garbrandt's wrestling is heavily underrated in my opinion. Um, that's why I don't think Peyton Talbot was ready for the wrestling of Barcelos. Nobody had seen such. I think people were underestimating him a lot, and that's why he came out and put on a clinic against Talbot. But if you had to go on the feet, you're picking Talbot. I don't think Lima's as strong as Barcelos. He's definitely not as swift with his takedowns. I feel like he's going to put more of a takedown threat than actually shoot takedowns in this fight. I think he is going to try and strike. He's going to try, yeah, he's going to try and fucking stroke with Talbot. Talbot would probably fucking like that though. But he's probably going to try and strike with Peyton Talbot in this fight. Mainly because I can just see Lima being worried about the knees down the middle after shooting. The thing with Barcelos is his takedowns were just way perfectly timed. I genuinely was not expecting that upset against Talbot with Raoni Barcelos, but I can just see Lima being scared to initiate a takedown. Maybe change the level a bit, see Talbot flare that knee up. Talbot will be ready. I can genuinely see Talbot winning this by knockout. I could very much be wrong, but again, just the reach, the timing. Talbot's counters are slick. I mean, we saw how Cameron Simon shot takedown and that ended for him. I just think Raoni Barcelos was just the much better, more timed wrestler. Again, that's not me dissing Felipe Lima. Felipe Lima's an amazing fighter. Being able to come out and do that to someone like Naimov on a short notice, you know, phenomenal performance. And then he beat Miles Johns. The thing with Miles Johns is I don't really rate that win. He beat Miles Johns in December 14th, last year, and Miles Johns just isn't as technical. He's way easier to take down. Given Miles Johns was trying to get back to his feet, but Miles Johns is way easier to take down. His shots are way more telegraphed. He's easy to counter and get past the guard and try and take down. I just don't rate that win against Talbot taking out, Cameron Simon. Yanis Mori, I don't rate that win, but I rate a Cameron Simon win just as much as I do a Mohamed Naimov win. As stupid as that sounds, I know Cameron Simon's on a 2-fight knockout losing streak, but Cameron Simon is more well-rounded, just like Felipe Lima. Considering Raoni Barcelos is just someone that heavily relies on his wrestling. I am going to go with Peyton Talbot decision or knockout. But I just don't rate this fight. I genuinely think it's ruining two prospects. It reminds me of when Joshua Van was meant to fight Tatsuro Taira. We'll get to Joshua Van in a bit. He's also on this card. Shout out my goat. But it just reminds me of I don't want these matchups where you're trying to build two prospects. One's coming off a loss. One's still shooting forward. Why are you trying to ruin a prospect here? Because if Peyton Talbot loses, that's Peyton Talbot on a 2-fight losing streak, and Peyton Talbot brings a heavy audience from TikTok and Instagram. Um, you know, People actually do follow Peyton Talbot outside of MMA as well. And then you have Felipe Lima, someone who's on a quick rise into the UFC. Definitely making a name for himself. I just think it's too early to match people like this together. It's just going to ruin one's outlook. And that's just my opinion on it anyways. But yeah, we'll go with Peyton Talbot by late knockout or decision. Oh, there we go. Brandon Royval and Joshua Van. Joshua Van put on a fucking a boxing clinic not even 2 weeks ago. And he's got the call after Manel Cap broke his foot. and they said, hey, you just fought on a big pay-per-view, you know, with names like Sean O'Malley and Marab, which he's probably made some money for, and now he's fighting on the main card of International Fight Week, not even 3 weeks later, at the age of what, 23? That's just insane to me. Now, looking at this, I genuinely thought Joshua Van would have way less of a reach, but 3 inches, that's not actually that bad. Pause. A 4 inch height disadvantage. His only loss in the UFC come to Charles Johnson in the third round, with a KO. But the only thing that happened in that fight was that it wasn't that Joshua Van was losing that fight. He was up rounds 1 and 2 by a mile. Joshua Van come out in the Charles Johnson come out in the third round and just blitzed Joshua Van. Came forward with pressure that I don't think he was ready for. I don't think he was ready for that switch up. And that's not to say that Joshua Van can't adapt mid-fight. I just don't think he was expecting that much of a technical strategy from, or that much of a change up from Charles Johnson. And it caught him off guard. But he was just fighting ranked number. He's ranked number 11 now, so I'd imagine Bruno Silva was ranked number 11. And now he's going up against ranked number 1 on short notice. I'm not even going to say it's short notice. He just had a full fight camp, won his last fight taking no damage. It was almost like he's fighting a sparring partner. And now he's fighting 3 weeks later after a bit of rest and another aggressive camp. I do like Joshua Van's chances in this fight. I really, really do. And it'd be amazing to, wake up and have Joshua Van as a number 1 contender. But I really do like Brandon Royval. And I think he's earned his title shot either way. They're both tough fighters. Even at 23 years old, I think Joshua Van's more powerful, better boxing, better striking. I don't know about in terms of leg kicks, but Brandon Royval's grappling is on another level. Being able to last against Tatsuro Taira like that, and I'm not going to say out grapple, but make Tatsuro Taira get tired like that and show a well case of MMA, on the feet, stuffing the takedowns. If he wants to try and take Joshua Van down though, good luck. Joshua Van's takedown defense is insane. From start to finish, every move you should be doing in terms of takedown defense, like the fundamentals is just there, and that's all you need. Pushing the head down, forearm across, sprawling, just it's there. I don't know why my OBS blacked out, but yeah, it's just there. It is there. Sorry, I'm recording this pretty late, so we're gonna try and wrap it up soon. But it is there. The thing is, I just think Brandon Royval has the more experience. It's not 5-rounder, which I like for both of these fighters in terms of, Joshua Van hasn't had a 5-rounder before, so it's going to suit him. Brandon Royval, he's going to feel less pressure because he knows the level of a 5-rounder. I just think that this is way closer than people think. People are immediately saying Brandon Royval just for experience and, jumping from number 11 to number 1. But at the end of the day, a rank is a rank. There are fighters out there that don't care about rankings. Like, if Khamzat Chimaev was not in the UFC, until, this year, I genuinely think if you can see someone's skill level, he would be ranked number 1 quicker than he would during COVID, if that makes sense. Obviously, with time off, delays, COVID. If Khamzat Chimaev was in the UFC right now, I believe he could get to the title shot in 5 fights from now. Which Joshua Van has had 8 fights in the UFC and he's lost 1. And he could be at the cusp of a title shot this weekend, which I absolutely love for him. But yeah, again, it's hard. It's so hard to decide or make a pick on this fight. I really do think it's a 50-50 matchup. It's a lot closer than people are saying. But again, just for experience, height, reach, his grappling is good. Maybe he can take Joshua Van down once, and maybe that's all he needs. Maybe he might sub Van. Or I can see Brandon Royval putting on a heavy pace and Van getting tired at the end of round 2. I am going to have to go with Brandon Royval, unfortunately. But this is going to be an amazing fight regardless. Again, I'm not trying to break these down too much. I'm trying not to be biased either, but it's so hard with a matchup like this. It really is. But we are going to go with Brandon Royval by decision. Easy money, easy money. Renato Moicano versus Beneil Dariush. I'm going to go with Beneil Dariush. I'm actually going to go with Beneil Dariush. If you would have asked me when this fight was originally booked in January, who I was going to go with, I probably would have told you Moicano, just for the term of, you know, he was on a hot streak. Um, I'd say recency bias. I mean, he absolutely dominated Benoit Saint Denis in September last year, but in my opinion, Benoit's not that good. He's a grappler, he's not a striker, but he's not someone who has a sense of urgency. He's not very technical at all. Um, the only reason Renato got him down was because um, this is one thing Renato does really good is tape study. He noticed that in every fight of Benoit's, he threw a body kick at the start of every fight, no matter what. The first move he threw was a body kick, a rear body kick, I believe it was. Renato managed to catch it and get to the back, and then it was good night Vienna from there. Absolutely put a beating on him in the first round. Within 3 minutes, Benoit could not see out one of his eyes. It was an amazing, amazing first round for Renato. That fight should have been finished in that first round. The doctor should have called that. So Renato comes out in the second round. And he's not doing anything. He's just pitter patter. They're not stopping it. So he feels he has to, keep jabbing, keep taking him down. I believe it went the end of round 2 actually, and they were just like, "No, we got to call this." But I feel for Renato Moicano, not wanting to keep putting the damage on someone who should not be fighting. His grappling is good, but when he had to fight Islam Makhachev on short notice in January after the whole Arman fuck up, thanks Arman, for fucking up the entire lightweight fucking division, thank you. But I noticed that when he was fighting Makhachev, you can say Makhachev tripped or he dropped him, whatever. When he got back up, Islam got the takedown straight away. But the thing is, with Renato, his sense of urgency to get back up was too quick. He's not checking for, building his base slowly, not trying to work slowly. He just tries to get straight back up, and that's how he got caught in a darce by Makhachev. I'm not saying Beneil's going to submit him, but I think Beneil's wrestling is going to be dominant enough, to pick up on Renato making these urgent mistakes of getting back to his feet. I think if he can get some chain wrestling going, he'll definitely win some rounds. And his striking, I'm not going to say his striking's bad, but Renato's striking isn't the best either. I just think wrestling over jiu-jitsu, yes, Moicano could possibly sub him off his back, but I think Beneil Dariush has had quite some time off to recover after his KO loss against Arman. I mean, his last fight was when? I want to say it was end of 2023. I'm going to say he lost to Arman at the end of 2023. Let's have a look. Arman Tsarukyan, December 2023. Yeah, so he's had, what, a year and a half off. I think that's done him some good. He looks to be in good shape. And he beat Mateusz Gamrot. And Mateusz Gamrot, his grappling is just insane. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to watch. I don't know why he gets the hate he does, but it's amazing. Losing to Oliveira and Arman Tsarukyan back to back, that's not bad at all. That really isn't bad at all, especially when you look at it. He lost to Oliveira in June, this time in 2023, and then lost to Arman in December 2023. Both bad knockouts back to back. I think he needed the time off, and I think we're going to see a refreshed Beneil Dariush. I don't see him finishing Moicano. Moicano isn't easy to finish. In terms of what you may think, I just don't think he's chinny. I don't think he's going to get submitted by Beneil. I just see Beneil putting on that good skill of wrestling and taking him to a decision. So I'm going to go Beneil Dariush by decision. That's what I'm going to go by. What we got next? Uber Driver versus fucking Goblin. So they fought on the Ultimate Fighter 9 years ago. With, I believe Pantoja. I want to say Pantoja submitted him. I could very much be wrong. Pantoja. Kai Kara France. There we go. Oh, decision. 9 years ago. That's a very, very long time. Obviously, Kai Kara France has definitely gotten way better. 9 years. I'd be a bit concerned if he hadn't made any sorts of improvement. Oh, I didn't even see the odds here. So, Brandon Royval's the slight favourite. Beneil Dariush is the underdog. Pantoja is more of a heavy favourite, and the odds haven't been made for this one yet, which is a bit concerning. But yeah, 9 years is a lot for someone to get better, way better. But in that time that Kai Kara France has gotten better, Pantoja's obviously gotten better. Pantoja's on a really good run right now. He's beaten Manel Cap, Brandon Royval, Alex Perez, Brandon Moreno, Brandon Royval, Steve Erceg, Kaya Sakura. He's beaten both Brandons twice. He's beaten Kai Kara France. His losses aren't bad. He lost to Deveson Figueiredo. That's his only loss in recent time. Deveson and Askar Askarov. I don't even know what happened to Askar Askarov actually. I think he just fucking disappeared. He's 15-1 now. His last fight was November 2024. Oh, okay. Anyway. Again, I just don't see anyone beating Pantoja soon. As much as Kai Kara France has gotten better recently, I think Pantoja's just miles ahead in terms of his chin, his grappling. His striking isn't that bad. But it's hard with these types of fights because you say someone's chin's immaculate. I mean, Steve Erceg, out of all people, he finished Matt Schnell and then he went to fight for the belt. He got rushed, but he was close to winning that fight. He really was. And then Kai Kara France goes out there and knocks out Steve Erceg in round one. So it does make you think, but hey, we don't use MMA math here at all. Fuck. In terms of more ways to win, I think it's Pantoja, but the Aussies are making a resurgence recently with Volk getting his belt back, JDM taking the belt at welterweight. I would like to see refreshing faces in the division, but I just don't see it happening. Not yet, anyways. Oh, Pantoja's 35. Pantoja's 35 and Kai Kara France is 32. So I just don't think we're ready to see the hedge end of Pantoja's career. I'm gonna go with Pantoja by submission. Yep, by submission. Ilia Topuria versus Chop. Why is he ranked number 3? Okay. Well, Spanish, Georgian, whatever you want to call him. Apparently he's from Germany now. This is the fight. This is the fight I can't wait for. But I fear, unfortunately, my boy's about to get slipped. This one really pains me. It really pains me to say it. I don't think I can do it. I can't pick against him. I don't think I could pick against Oliveira. I really don't. Shit. Charles Oliveira. What a beautiful title run that was. It was amazing. It was a beautiful title run. But now you're 35, turning 36 in October. Fuck. 31 finishes. Most submissions in UFC, most finishes in UFC. 12 fight win streak. It was beautiful to watch. But then you go out there and look like that against Michael Chandler last year. Fuck. After already knocking him out in the second round the first time he fought him. And then the second fight. I can understand why he looked like that, I really can. He was right at the cusp of a title shot back then. and then he fought Chandler. I think he was more scared of losing that shot to Chandler after already beating him. Maybe it was just the thought of, I've worked so far to get back here. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to be methodical. And it was working. 4 rounds. I mean, he 10-8'd him in 2 rounds. And that fifth round, I just don't even know what happened in that fifth round. It's like he forgot he could move his head. And then Chandler hit him with some illegal blows. So hopefully he doesn't have brain damage from that fight. Because he's going to need every advantage he can get here against Topuria. So, Ilia Topuria 16-0. Knocked out two more fan favourites back to back. This guy's a fucking villain. I swear he's actually a fucking villain. Knocks out Alexander Volkanovski. Doesn't say anything. Knocks out Max Holloway. Doesn't say anything. Drops the belt and leaves. And moves up. If he knocks out Charles Oliveira on Saturday, this will be the best free fight win streak in history. I don't care. I don't care. I really don't care what anyone says. It will be. Can he do it though? Well, let's take a look when he went back to lightweight on short notice. Again, yeah, short notice, but he fought Jai Herbert at lightweight in 2022. Looked good at the start. Got in the pocket with Jai Herbert, and Jai Herbert landed a flush head kick at the end of the combination. Sent Topuria to the floor. It didn't knock him out, didn't, daze him. I think it just shocked him. Scoots his butt forward for a single leg as Jai comes to finish him. Gets the takedown. Starts to work his way back into the fight, and if you haven't seen it, it's probably one of the most insane comebacks in terms of a horrifying knockout afterwards. But Ilia Topuria is the real deal. I think the way he carries himself and his level of confidence has something to go with that as well. Like putting in your bio world champion before you beat Volk, making a movie to come out on the day of beating Volk. Can you imagine doing all that and then losing? That would be yeah, I don't think we'd see him in the UFC after that. That's all I'm saying. I would not show my face if that was me. But I really don't want to pick against Charles. Can he win? Yes, but it's a case of he's wild. Ilia is wild, but he's technical. Level changing. Starts taking Holloway down in the first round, letting him know the takedown is there, stalking him against the cage, and that's how Topuria does it. He gets his opponents against the cage and starts ripping, plants his feet, starts ripping these 5-6 shot combinations. If one of them hits you, you're going to sleep. I don't care who you are, especially since it just happened to Holloway of all people. If Charles allows him to get any space and gets him against the cage, he's going to sleep, and I don't want to see that. The one thing that Charles does well, which I haven't really seen people pick up on, is he defends calf kicks and leg kicks really well, which Holloway and Volk wasn't doing. Topuria was firing a calf kick at Volk and it was spinning him. It was definitely slowing Holloway down. I just don't think it's going to do the same to Charles, and I don't think it's going to show. I don't think it's going to slow Charles down. Charles has shown he can go 5 rounds many times, but he doesn't. He's never needed the full 5 rounds. I don't think this is going 5 rounds at all. None of these fighters need the 5 rounds, but I just don't think Topuria is going to be able to get his game plan early of slowing Oliveira down. I don't think he's going to be able to get much control of getting him against the cage. But I just can't. Every time I want to bet against or predict against Topuria, he goes out there and proves me wrong. But I know I'm going to be wrong. I really hope I'm not. But I think on Saturday we're going to see Charles Oliveira as the champion. And that is what I'd like. If that happens, the UFC would be healing. The UFC will definitely be healing. So we can just sit here and pray that another fan favorite doesn't get their lights knocked out by fucking this evil villain over here. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Charles Oliveira by again, two people from jiu-jitsu backgrounds just knocking people out. So Charles could win by knockout. He loves to get in the tight clinch. He loves to put the hammer around the back of the neck and throw uppercuts. I can see knees. I think what's going to work for Oliveira as well is a lot of knees in the clinch. Might slow Topuria down as well. if anything, to stop him getting his wrestling going as well. And Topuria even said he doesn't like wrestling because it tires you out quicker, which obviously is true. That's textbook, everyone knows. But in terms of him, if you have to force him to wrestle, we might see a different outcome. I would trust Oliveira as much as Oliveira does slow down in later rounds. Oliveira is more of a grappler. Oliveira has shown more of his grappling tendencies, whereas as Topuria has just come in and knocking everyone out recently. I think if Oliveira can make him grapple just for a few rounds, I think I genuinely think that's going to help him out. If this is early rounds, it's Topuria all day, but I think if we see Charles come in methodical, we start to see him slow Topuria down, it might be a different story. I'm going to go with Charles Oliveira by late round finish, maybe end of round 3, 4, 5. We'll go something like that. So those are my picks. This is a new channel, obviously. Um, I'm just giving it a go. I would love some feedback, maybe on how I speak, how I provide the info, quality, what you want to see next. I will be doing a recap of the card after, as well as live reactions. Maybe I'll get them clipped. But yeah, I guess the next video will be the recap. We'll probably cover some more news after as well. But yeah, peace.